Yes, hi friends. In previous sessions, we are already discussing about what is file and what is record, and we are discussing what are the different types of file organizations techniques, right? So in that, we are already discussing in detail about what is sequential file organization and what is direct file organization, right? So in this session, we are discussing one more file organization technique, that is indexed sequential file organization, right? So what is indexed sequential file organization and how to apply different methods to improve the performance of sequential file organization by using indexed sequential file organization, right? So first of all, what is indexed sequential file organization? Indexed sequential file organization. So why we are using file organization techniques? To process any file in an efficient manner, we need to apply file organization techniques. What are those? Sequential file organization, indexed sequential file organization, direct file organization, right? So by using those organization techniques, we can process the data or records in a file in an efficient way, right? So here processing is nothing but searching, accessing the records from the file, insertion operation, deletion operation, append operation, right? So these are the different types of processing, right? So here what is the last technique? Indexed sequential file organization, right? So what is indexed sequential file organization? So this technique it is a combination of both sequential file organization as well as direct sequential file organization, which means, so by using this technique we can access the record, apply searching process, as well as we can access the record directly or randomly from a set of records, right? So simply this method is a combination of sequential file organization and direct file organization. Right? So in general, when we are applying sequential file organization, the performance is very low. So to improve the performance of a sequential file organization, we are adding or we are appending some extra information to the sequential file organization. Then that file organization is called as indexed sequential file organization. So here we are adding one more extra information. That information is nothing but index. So here we are apply some extra information, that is index, to the sequential file. So that's why this file organization is called as indexed sequential file organization. What is the meaning of index? So by using index we can order the data items, right? So here in general we are working with sequential file organization the performance is very low. So here, to improve the performance of Sequential file organization a slight modification is added, then it is called indexed sequential file organization. So to improve the performance of sequential file organization, a slight modification is added to the sequential file organization. So that file organization is called as indexed sequential file organization. What is that modification, right? So generally in this technique, some index values. So before adding some index values, first of all the records are arranged in a sequential manner and put some index values at some places to group the values. So that is the general process in indexed sequential file organization. So first of all, in this file organization, all the records are arranged in a sequential manner. Then put some index values at some places to group the values. That is the general process in indexed sequential file organization, right? So here in this method, in this file organization, all the records are arranged in a sequential manner and put some index values at some positions to group the values, to group the values, right? So this is the general process in indexed sequential file organization. In generally sequential file organization, we are not adding any extra information, that is nothing but indexes, right? So here simply we are adding some extra information at some positions only, not all positions, at some positions to group the values. Then only we can apply searching mechanism on that groups, right? So here this file organization reduces the number of comparisons when compared to sequential file organization. So obviously it is faster method when compared to sequential file organization. Why? Because so number of comparisons are reduced, right? So here we are applying comparison procedure only some group of values. Based on index value, we can apply searching process in a group of values, right? So this is the general process for sequential file organization, indexed sequential file organization, right? So this concept is applicable for both sequential file organization as well as it is a combination of both sequential file organization as well as indexed sequential file organization, right? So here I am taking one example to explain the indexed sequential file organization. So first of all, In indexed sequential file organization, all the records are arranged in a sequential manner. Then put some indexes value at some positions to group the values. That is the general process, right? So here I am taking one file which contains sequential records. Why? Because so here, first of all, in this method, in this process, all the records are arranged in a sequential manner only. Then only we can put some indexes at some positions, right? So here I am taking one file which consisting some records. For suppose 5, 10, 15, 20, 23, 25, 27, 30, 35, 50, 55, 70, 75, 100, 110, 150. So this file consisting these records. So all the records are arranged in sequential manner. Then only we can apply the indexed sequential file organization, right? So this is our records. So first of all the records are arranged in a sequential manner. Then put some indexes at some positions, right? So first of all, here I am arranging some indexes. So here this is the lower index. So here this is our higher index value. Lower index. So here I am arranging lower indexes and higher indexes values at some positions to group the values. So based on lower index, higher index values, I can group these values, right? Then 70 is lower index value. 150 is higher index value. 150 is higher index value. Right? So here, what is the general process? For suppose if I want to search a record 23, search a record 23 in this group by using indexed sequential file organization. First of all, here I am put some lower index and higher index to group some values, right? So first of all, in this process, searching record is compared with higher index value. So what is the first higher index value? 30. So when compared to 30, so 30 less than, so 30 greater than, 30 less than 23. So when compared to index value, this is less value, right? So that's why we can search left sublist, otherwise we can search right sublist. So searching record is greater value when compared to higher index value, we can search right sublist, otherwise we can search left sublist. So here 23 value is less than when compared to 30, so that's why we can search left sublist. Again, searching record is compared with lower level index value. So 20 less than 23. So here the condition is failure. So once this condition 20, so searching element is greater than lower index value, we can search right position, otherwise we can search left position. So here condition is failure. So searching element is greater value when compared to lower level index. So that's why we can search right values, right? So here this is our boundary values. So here by arranging lower level index, higher level index and grouping these values, right? So our searching record is presented in between these elements only. So for these group of elements, I am applying sequential search. So 20, 23, 25, 27, 30. So here once we can group all the values, we can apply sequential search. That is, so 23 is compared with 20, record is not 4. So 23 is compared with 23. So record is found. So we can stop the searching process, right? So here, by using indexed sequential file organization, we can reduce the number of comparisons when compared to sequential file organization. In sequential file organization, generally what we are doing, we are not setting any index values, right? For suppose here in sequential file organization, I want to search 23. How many number of comparisons are required? First of all, we can compare 1. So 5. So record is not found. 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 So record is found. So totally 4 comparisons. So ultimately 5 comparisons are required. Then only we can get the designed record from the file, right? In sequential search. So simply by using indexed sequential file organization, we need only 2 comparisons. Then we can find out the desired record from a set of records, right? So by using some extra information to the sequential file, that is index values, higher index values and lower index values are set at some positions to group values, then only we can apply sequential search process on that group after apply all the comparisons, right? So this is the general process, right? For suppose if I want to search 110. I want to search 110. So first of all, here we are comparing with the higher index value. So what is higher index value? 30. So 30 less than 110. So condition is failure. So obviously condition is failure. So the searching record is presented at right sublist, right? So once greater value, we can so this condition becomes true, we can search left sublist only, right? So this condition becomes failure, we can search the right sublist, right? So here, so 30 less than 110. So condition is true. So 30 less than 110. So that's why we can search the right sublist, right? So here, find record is compared with index value. So once condition is true, we can search the right sublist, otherwise we can search the left sublist, right? So here this is true, we can search the right sublist, right? So 30 less than 110. So again we are comparing with the lower index, 70 less than 110. This condition is failure. So obviously, so 70 less than 110, this condition is true. So 70 less than 110, this condition is true. Then we are searching right sublist, right? So we can search right sublist. So here again we are comparing higher index value. So 150. So 150 less than 110. So this condition is also true. We can search left sublist. So here right sublist is not presented. Obviously we can search left sublist, right? So here now I am considering this list: 70, 75, 100, 110, 150. Then we are applying sequential search. So record is 110. So 110 is compared with 70, 75, 100, 110. So record is found. Process has been stopped, right? So here we are comparing higher index value, then we are comparing lower index value. Then we can consider one group. In that group we are applying sequential search process. We can find out the desired record. So here 30 less than 23. So I want to search 23 record. 30 less than 23. Condition is true. So that's why we can search left sublist, right? So here again we are comparing lower level index, 20 less than 23. Condition is true. So 20 less than 23. Condition is true. So we can search right sublist, right? So this is the general process in indexed sequential file organization, right? So coming to what are the advantages and disadvantages? What are the advantages and disadvantages of indexed sequential file organization? So coming to advantages, more flexibility to the users. So that is the first advantage. Why? Because here we are considering not entire group, we are considering some group of records only. So based on higher index value, lower index value. So that's why more flexible. This file organization is more flexible for comparison purpose. More flexible organization. More flexible file organization to the users. Now second point is more faster when compared to sequential file organization. So these are the advantages. Yes, coming to disadvantages. What are the disadvantages? Additional memory, additional storage space is required for storing the index values. Higher index values, lower index values storing purpose. We are requiring some extra storage space. So that is the major drawback, right? So here additional storage space is required for storing the index values. So these are the advantages and disadvantages. So coming to what is the real-time example for indexed sequential file organization. For suppose here I am considering student details file. So example, student details file. So student details file contains student number, student name, student branch, student address. So these are the general fields that are presented in student details file, right? So here I am considering this is our file. So here I am considering some records in this file. Right? So student number 501, 502, 503, 504, 505, 506. Right? So 506. So here some A, B, C, D, E, F. So CSC, so branch is CSC, some branch is presented. So this is the CSC student organizer file, right? So address for suppose